Yo, what's up? And welcome back to another tutorial. In this tutorial, we are going to be looking at how to add another user to the login program we created previously. And if you didn't watch my previous video, I would suggest that you do. I will put a link in the description for the original creation of the login program, or you might be seeing a link on the video right now. Click either one of those and go and watch how I actually created the login program. It contains more information. I'm going to be taking a different approach, and I'm going to be teaching you all something else. And in this tutorial, we're going to be adding a new user. So let's begin. We don't need these two since we are not going to make the program to run only with one user. So I'm going to comment these two lines, and I'm going to be creating something called a list. Now this is something new for you guys. A list is like I said previously, a box, but it can contain more than one item. So what can the box do? Contain more than one item, while the string can just contain one item. Now what I'm going to do here is I am going to make a list, and I'm going to call it allowed users. And here I'm going to put one item into the list, and it's going to be the first user, massive code, and I'm going to use a separation sign. I'm going to be using this. I'm going to be using the @ If you guys really don't know what I'm doing, don't get too confused with the terms. You will eventually get to know. Just like kind of pay very close attention. You don't need to understand everything. So let's go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this thing over here, if you know, this @ sign, to be a separation for the username and password. Just watch what I'm going to do. So this is the username @ and then this is the separation sign, and this is the password, which means that this is one item now added to the list. Now I'm going to be adding a second item, and to do that I need to put a comma, a space bar, and add this second item. Now the second item is going to be the second user, which I'm going to be naming Derek. Now Derek is going to be the second user, and his password is going to be 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. These all are random numbers. Now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be needing to change this line too, because this line is the decision making. Python makes decision in this line. So what I'm going to be telling Python, before I do this, I need to separate the username and password. Just before I begin any of this, I'm going to be opening the CMD here. I'm going to be closing this and opening a new CMD, and in this CMD I'm going to be writing Python, and it's going to be opening the Python interpreter shell where I can test out my codes. If you watched my installing Python and you install it the right way, you also can be opening a command line and writing Python and having this interpreter come up. Now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be making a list here. I'm going to be naming it test list. So this is to test where you are. This is where you test your ideas. Just watch how I test my ideas. And I'm going to make something called clock at time. So this is going to be the username. This @ is going to be the separation. Actually you can put it anything, but it should be something that you don't use in the username, something that is very distinct, and you can you don't use it anywhere else. Like it should be a rare word. I can be using this star key or this the percentage key. Anything that is like completely rare and you will not be using it in the username creation. Okay, let's hit enter, and there we have created a test list. Now there is something called there is a function for this, there is something called list splitting, which I'm going to be explaining right now. Test list, and when I hit the 0, it's going to bring the first item of the list when I hit the 0. And if I put number 1, it's going to bring an error because there is no second item. So this is going to be the first item, and then if I add another item, it's going to be the second item and the third item, and so on. And the first item is given 0, and the second item number 1, and the third item number 2, and so on. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking the first item. Okay, I'm not going to be taking the first item. I'm going to be splitting the first item, which means I'm going to be taking task list 0, which is clock and with the time, and I'm going to be using the dot split function. Okay, dot split function. Oh, I suppose not right function here, and I am going to split it. I'm going to split the word percentage here. Now just watch what happens when I hit the enter key. It brought another list, okay, and in this list it contains 1 or more 2 items. So this list contains username and password again. You can look it as a sublist. So I'm going to be minimizing this now, and I am going to be creating something like that, which differentiates, which kind of separates the username and password. So what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be using the something called the for loops. This video is going to be kind of long because I'm really taking a new approach. I am assuming you guys are geniuses and you guys know what I'm speaking about. So please pay close attention, because I want to kind of teach you the fast way. I want you to advance more front. So if I keep on teaching you the very beginner and I keep on like limiting stuff, you kind of will not learn Python the fast way. Now what I'm going to be using is a for loop, and a for loop is used like this: for items in allowed users. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I am going to print. No, I don't want to print anything. I'm just gonna collapse a bit. I want to make first of all I want to make an empty list. Okay, I'm gonna make an empty list and I'm gonna call it, and it's an empty list. It doesn't have any items into it, and now I'm gonna write 4 items in allowed users, which means it's going to be okay. Let's give a little bit explanation before we proceed. This is going to be running through each item of the allowed users. Let's open the command prompt and I'm going to show you how. Let's say you have a fruit list, and in this fruit list you have apple, orange. You got 3 items: orange and pineapple. Now let's say you want to do something with each of this item. As I want to do in here, I want to do something with this item and then with this item. So what I'm going to do is I said 4 items, or you can change these items to anything. You can say for fruits in fruit list. Okay, 1 2 3 4. You got to put indentation, which is 4 spaces, and then you got to print fruits. Oh, what's the error? Let's run it again. 4 fruits in fruit list. 1 2 3 4. Oh, how do we print? Oh yeah, I put this, you see this, what do you call this, underscore, which I suppose not to be putting. Okay, so I'm just going to be putting this, and I'm going to be hitting enter, another enter, and there we go. See, each time it went through, it first printed apple, then orange, then pineapple. So it went through the list one by one, and this runs 3 times For each item in the list, this command is going to be running, and the first time is going to be the first item. It's going to run a second time the second item till the list is complete. Now let's do another example, and let's say make a string called A and put hello into it. And now let's say for letter in A. Now we are going to be using the for loop on a string. Let's see what happens, and let's hit enter. Indentation for spaces. Now let's print letter. Now let's hit the enter key, and there we go. Each time it ran, it's the first character, second character, third character, fourth character, fifth character, till there are no more characters left. So it keeps on running and running, and the first time it will be the first thing, the second time it will be the second thing, the third time it will be the third thing, the fourth time it will be the fourth thing, and so on till the string or list is complete. So what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be saying for items in allowed users, okay? For items in allowed users, I want to now you see that I have made an empty list here. Now for items in allowed users, I am going to be kind of splitting the item. Now on the first run, items is going to be let's change the items to users, okay? The first time it's going to be massive code, like I said. So now what we're going to be doing is the first time users is going to be massive code, and it's going to be this whole thing the first time. So what I'm going to do is I want to split the username and I want to split the password. So I'm going to be using dot split, and I'm going to split it using what do you call, using the @. So it splits this using the @, and then we want to store this somewhere. So we are going to be storing this in we are going to be storing this as user name and password, and we're going to be doing that. Now if you guys want to see how it's working, let's again open the command line. I'm sorry this tutorial has to be a big one because I want to give you all the knowledge that I can, and we want to go to more deeper topics. So let's go. Now first of all, let's make a list. Well, we already have made a list here. Yes, a test list. Let's look at test list, which we created earlier, and it has this. Now for something in test list, okay, 1 2 3 4 indentation, 4 space bars, and then what I'm going to be saying is data 1. I'm going to be creating a variable data 1, and I'm going to be splitting something, which is going to be clock percentage time, because that's the first thing and the only thing in the list. So something dot split, and then I want to kind of split using this one, using the percentage sign, and then I want to put data 1 and I want to put data 2. Now as you can see, this is going to be ran. I'm going to hit enter, and now let's check what is data 1 and data 2. Data 1 has clock and data 2 has time. Pretty interesting, right? Data 1 got the first. It got the first because this something dot split, it returned 2 items, okay? It returned 2 items. The first item was clock, and the second item was time, according to the respective order. So what I did is I specified 2 strings in one line. I said data 1 slash data 2 is equals to this, which was a list, okay? So let's again do this for something in test list, and let's do data 1. No, this time let's just not assign it to any variable, a string I mean. Let's hit enter, and you see this is what it returns. So when we put data1 and data2, and we specified data1 took the value clock and data2 took the value time. Now let's go into this. Now each time this is ran, we want to put this whole thing inside the for loop, because now username is going to be massive code in the first run, and the password is going to be abc123. This is all I'm talking about in the first run. So we want to first assign these strings, and then we need to check it. So we're going to put this inside the for loop. So I'm going to put 4 space bar, that is the indentation. So you put something inside something else. It's kind of the organized way that Python works in. And we're going to put 1 2 3 4 for space bars for each. 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. Okay, and now we are going to be removing this. I don't think so we're going to be needing this. Like, I don't know why I ever put this here in the first place. Okay, and I'm going to save it. I'm going to hit Ctrl S on my keyboard. Let's run the program, and there we go. We have kind of ran the program successfully. Now let's test it out, shall we? Let's write massive code, and let's put the password for ABC123. Now this is another bug, so I'm gonna explain to you how you're gonna solve this bug. Okay, so now listen very carefully and pay very close attention. The first time it runs this, because this runs twice, this for loop, it runs twice, once for the massive code and once for Derek. So it runs twice because there are 2 items in our list. So the first time it runs, okay, it successfully puts the username, it splits it, it kind of separates the username and password, put them into separate strings, variables, and then it checks. Okay, you're right, see the password for the locker, it reveals the secret message. Then there is a second time where it goes. This goes for a second time, okay? This again goes for a second time, the for loop, and this time what I entered was massive code, but what the username was actually was Derek, because the second time it's kind of looking at Derek and the password 12345667. So this time I entered massive code and it was kind of wrong. So this time it printed incorrect username or password. It printed twice. The first time, yes, it was right because the password, the username was massive code and the password was right. But the second time it was wrong because the program expected it to be Derek. So now what we're going to be doing is we are going to be looking at this. If this one runs successfully, then what I'm going to be doing is I am going to be kind of exiting the software. Not exiting, but I'm going to be kind of exiting. Yes, I'm going to be reading the secret message and exiting the software, so this for loop cannot be ran again. I could be using the break function, which I'm going to be testing out right now. Massive code ABC123. There's also the break function works. So let me just give you a explanation of the break. The break function, it directly gets out of the loop. It gets out of the loop. So when I write break, now in which loop I am, it's going to be breaking the loop. It breaks the for loop. This can be used for for and while loops when you want to break them. So when something happens and you don't want to continue, when you got the right thing and you don't want to continue and don't want to go to the second thing, because let's say it went to the first thing and if it found the password, we don't want it to continue to the second item, right? So we want to break it and stop the loop from continuing. But in case in the other case, while the password is not the right password, it has to continue. So this only happens when it reveals the secret message and when the password is right. And now let's test the program for the second user. So I have opened the program again and I'm going to write Derek, and I'm going to put the password to be 12345667. Now, oopsies, there's a very big bug going on. Let's solve it. Oh yes, now let me tell you why this happens. Because this for loop, the first time it runs, okay, it considers massive code to be the username. So the first time it prints this, because of course my username which I typed into is not massive code and it expected massive code. So it prints incorrect username or password. But the second time what it does, the second time it expects the password direct, because now it is going through the second item of the list. And this time I have typed in Derek, so it kind of puts the correct thing. Now what I'm going to be doing is I'm not going to be making a print function here. I'm going to be specifying that I'm going to make like authorized. I'm gonna make a string auth. I'm gonna make like it's called a boolean value, and it can include it is just like a string, but it includes fails or true. So if he have entered the right one, he's authorized, so it's true. And if he has entered the wrong one, then it is the authorized. So just let's remove this because we don't need it anymore. I supposed to be commenting it. That would be a little bit more of a better solution than this, but I just rubbed it off, so let's leave it rubbed off for a while. The proper approach would be to comment those lines without removing them, in case you needed them later. So now what I'm going to do, if he entered the right password, authorized becomes true. If he entered the wrong password, authorized becomes false. So now what is going to be happening is the for loop is going to run first time, and the first time when I enter Derek, it's going to be expecting massive code, and the authorized is going to be fails. But the second time is going to be true. So once this whole function completes, okay, then what's going to be happening is it's going to be having the final value, which is going to be true if the password was true anyway, and if the password was wrong, it's going to be including false. I'm sorry, I pronounced it wrong. Now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be making another if and else statement. I'm going to be printing, oh my god, yes. Now okay, just let's focus now what we have. If authorized is equals to true, then you got to print. Now you know why I kind of needed those stuff without removing them. A programmer should never remove lines from the code. Now see what trouble I'm facing just because I removed those codes without commenting them. The locker password is I'm writing wrong. Well, password is 12345G, and else, that means that authorized is not true. Print incorrect username or password. Now let's save it, Control S, and let's run it back again. This time let's again write Derek, password 1234567, and there we go. Let's again run it, try it with massive code. Password ABC123. There we go. Let's try with the wrong password. Yada yada, and password is 33333, and then there it comes incorrect username or password, which means the program is complete. And there we go, program is complete. We added another username. We can add another username if you like. We can put, let's say, Kevin without the capital. Oh, let's make a capital here. Kevin 11, and then let's put the password to 8888. And let's then save the program, and again let's run it. And this time we can also put Kevin and 8888, and there we go. Again, the locker password is 1234556. And that's pretty much it. You could add multiple users for this program, and it's gonna work perfectly. You know why? Because I built it. I'm just kidding, because you see there's no bugs. Yep, you could add some modifications to this program, which is gonna make it much better than this, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna leave it for you viewers to break your head. Actually, not break your head, to fix it or make it better. It's up to you. An exercise for you guys viewers. And yep, make sure you subscribe, because I upload content like this daily. And in the future, no more static sounds on my mic. And make sure you comment, because I am going to answer every one of them. And share this video to your friends, because if it did come in handy for you, it is going to come in handy for your friend. And why be jealous over knowledge? Why be jealous over knowledge? Share it. And tomorrow I'm going to be uploading another tutorial, so that makes one of the reasons why you should be subscribing. See you at the next tutorial. Goodbye.